So in this video, I'm going to just mainly just be talking about the Demon Hunter build that I like to use, and then also some of the changes for the expansion pack that I came across. Okay, so first off, I use preparation. I have the backup plan rune. You know, uh, and it restores all my discipline because for this build that I got, discipline's very important. If you don't have discipline, then you'll probably end up dying. Um, and then I use shadow power, of course. Everybody use shadow power with gloom, reduce incoming damage. Then I also have the Sentry Guardian turret. You place that down, it gives you a little bit more damage. And then also, if you stand in it, you take less damage as well. That's the rune I like to use for that. None of these they're not really that good, for higher, like once you're, max out Infernal level 10 or MP10. Um, like Aid Station, Spitfire turret. Um, and then of course, Reign of Vengeance. BC Bombs is actually really good. It creates like an AoE around you that just constantly just does mass AoE, so I like to use that a lot. And then Bolo Shot, but it's just use it as my main attack with the Thunderball. That way it'll stun people as I'm casting. And of course, where most of my damage comes from is definitely the Spike Trap Echoing Blast. Each trap explodes up to 3 times, dealing 275% weapon damage each, as poison to all enemies within 8 yards. So I like to use that as well. And then here's my damage isn't that high. Like I had other damage or I had other gear, but I traded it in for you know $550 resistance. Some people might consider that's too much, but oh well. And then here's my weapon here. Um, there's other weapons that have a lot more damage. Except I have -2 sockets and it has a 2.5% damage converted to life, which really helps me a lot. So I definitely prefer that over having more damage. Um, Shoulders are crafted, gloves are crafted, bracers are crafted, necklace is crafted, and then the Mempo at Twilight, um, of course, in his chest and in his pants, Witching Hour, and then Bloody Footprints with the ring as well. And then, of course, Dead Man's Legacy. Dead Man's Legacy is like the only good, quiver. It's definitely a lot better than all the rest. And of course, this ring I've had for a long time and haven't really replaced it yet. It has pretty good, damage on that as well. Um, I am saving up for a red gem. I have some red gems here. I'm going to convert it um, into the higher quality one. Except I need 10 of these, which is kind of lame because I don't know. It's for some reason it's hard for me to find them. But anyways, let me just go into this and I'll just show you this in action, and then I can get on to the changes that I have here. Oh, my guy. Usually I have the spellcaster, but sometimes I have him. He's 128,000 health. Um, and he just runs around stunning people and stuff. Need to aggro a bunch up.
Still waiting. I'm losing strength. You want more? My hatred is too low.
And you just stand there and you just never die. And then you run around discipline, you just pop that. Watch out for that charge, because that'll still one-shot me. And then of course when you're fighting elites, it's basically the same idea, except then you just kind of kite around because you can't really stay in one spot against elites. But you have all this reduced damage reduction on top of all the input damage that you have a lot of life steal and you don't really die that often. Sometimes you still die if you're just unlucky or something, but most of the time you don't. Constantly make sure you use your hatred, because if you don't use it, And then of course the traps aren't down, and then you don't have life steal, and then you'll end up dying. So I always gotta make sure that's really low.
McDonald's introduces the Veggie Signature McWrap. Packed with so much flavor, you'll be surprised you're enjoying vegetables. Try the Santa Fe veggie or Mediterranean veggie.
So let's close back here, and I'll pull up my All right, so we just get these changes here. So let's just start with preparation. So with preparation, punishment, instead of restoring all discipline for 25, or restoring all discipline, actually, well, in a minute, instead of restoring all hatred for 25 discipline, it instead restores 25 or 125 hatred for all discipline. I'm guessing, in the expansion, you're able to have more discipline or more hatred than that. So that way, instead of restoring all of that, it'll only restore, 125. There's also invigoration. That becomes a passive instead of increasing max discipline by 10 for 5 seconds when used. It'll just passively, permanently increase, discipline by 10. And then, of course, there's also battle scars. Um, it says gain 60% life when using preparation instead of after using. So I'm not sure if there's going to be a difference there, really. Um, but of course, I wouldn't think it'd be much of a difference. And then, of course, these two are the same. There's no change for those. Okay, and then also for Shadow Power, Nightbane, slow the movement speed of enemies within 30 yards by 60% for 3 seconds. So that's always good. Instead of giving you extra hatred, it'll just slow everybody. Um, it'll just slow the movement speed when they're around you. Gloom kind of got a nerf. Instead of 35% damage, reduction, they got nerfed down to 25% damage reduction. And of course this build and most demon hunters use Gloom a lot because demon hunters are really squishy. Um, and plus, with this tanky build, it won't be as good. But of course, there'll probably be other stuff that'll make up for that as well. Well of Darkness. This is an increased discipline or decreased discipline cost at 12. It removed its discipline cost, but at a 14-second cooldown. So it does have a 14-second cooldown, but of course, there's no discipline cost at all for that. And then lastly, Blood Moon, instead of 25%, increased life per hit to 1239, so 1,239 damage for any enemy hit. So of course, if you have a faster attack speed, then that'll come by a lot faster. For the sentry changes, there's Chains of Torment, which creates a tether between you and the sentry that does 125% weapon damage every second to every enemy it touches. I didn't really use that much. So it was kind of annoying to, walk around making sure that the chain is always on them. Um, but now it says create a tether chain between you and your sentry. Um, create the tether chain between you and the sentry and between each sentry that deals 125% weapon damage every second, to every enemy it touches. So I guess it's kind of instead of the sentry going directly to you, there'll be more chains between the sentries as well. Vigilant Watcher, it actually got changed to called Impaling Bolt. So Vigilant Watcher just reduces the cooldown of the sentry. But Impaling Bolt now fires a bolt with a 100% chance to pierce. So it'll just constantly, it's probably like the one passive, the Hungry Arrow, where it, has a chance to pierce enemies. That's most likely what it does. Okay, and then back for the Spitfire turret. The turret will also fire firing homing rockets at random nearby enemies for 30% weapon as fire damage. So that's what it does instead of. So that's basically the same.
The darkness grows
There's
while we
not really a
stand
change to that.
about.
It's just it was put in there and just worded differently. And then of course the aid station. The aid station is pretty much the exact same too. It'll just heal everybody around you for 2%, every second. Okay, Rain of Vengeance. Of course, I like using this because it gives me a whole bunch of life regen. With my with my bow, which is important for this build if you're going to be giant packs of mobs. So there's Beastly Bombs, which basically does the same thing, except it says grenades, instead of bombs. Maybe that'll just, change the way that it looks. And then, of course, Flying Strike basically does the same thing too. There's 8 beasts deployed from this guy, target location, dealing 100% weapon damage, and stun the enemies for 2 seconds. So that's the same as well for that. And now for Bolo Shot, which is, of course, the main attack. Volatile explosives, which increase the explosion range to 20. Um, and that's basically the exact same. It's still the same with that. Acid Strike shoots 3 bullets that deal 160% weapon damage. Each does poison. The bullet no longer explodes, for area, but of course it just goes through enemies instead of exploding. But shoots 3 bullets, does 100% weapon damage. Does poison. The bullet number explodes. Area damage to the right. Okay, so that's the exact same as well. The Thunderball, it just deals 160% weapon damage as lightning and has a 35% chance to stun for 1.5 seconds. Um, so that's basically the same as well. Um, and of course, Imminent Doom, it does 216, 148. Um, that's the exact same as well. But then the last thing is the Spike Trap, which got nerfed. So not too much stuff got buffed. It either got, slightly changed in a way, or at least in this case nerfed. Um, of course, Echoing Blast is the best one, like at least I think so. But Echoing Blast, 275% damage. Each trap explodes 3 times and it does AoE. But now it got nerfed to um, increase the damage to 240%, down from 275. Um, and then it just, turns damage into poison. So it seems like each trap, it does less damage, and then it just explodes and just does puts like a dot on them, or just does one single AoE. So it's like they just basically removed the each trap it explode 3 times, which of course, you do way less damage in that from it like constantly exploding. Everything else is about the same. The long fuse, it says um, it's 3 seconds instead of 2 seconds. So, that takes longer to active. And then it also says 270% weapon damage instead of 300. So that got nerfed by a lot as well. Um, and that's basically it when it comes. That's basically it when it comes to that. I think the lightning rod does 200% weapon damage instead. Um, Oh, and there's also the sticky trap. Plant the bomb on enemies rather than on the ground. After 2 seconds, the bomb explodes, dealing 280% weapon damage to all enemies within 8 yards. So it got nerfed from 16 to 8, and also got nerfed from 404% to 280%. Um, so that's basically, at least for all the skills that I use. If you like this video, then sure to like, comment, subscribe, and that kind of thing. And then also if you like, I can do the changes for all the other classes as well. And there's even all the Crusader classes
I'm
or the
staying right
Crusader
here, not for
skills as
anyone.
well. And then you can
And give me
see
a try,
um,
and you won't go back.
see all those ones, all the Crusader new skills. All right, so that's it for now. So thanks for watching and see you guys next time.